Okay, today we're going to work on changing the attribute of an element, which we've talked about changing the HTML, we've talked about changing the CSS. This is just taking it to that next level and being able to change any attribute of an element using jQuery. So I have most of this set up for you. All we're going to do here is I have all these pictures, right? And these are all set up as part of your sample code. And all we're going to do is when I mouse over a picture, it's going to change the attribute of this image here to whatever is the link that I have set up, the image link that I have set up, okay? So, this is something that you can accomplish obviously through JavaScript. You know how to do that, but I'm just showing you how to do it through jQuery. So let me just step you through the code. You can obviously, if you want to, just change these links. So I have 4 different links with 4 different images. 2 of these are animated images. That's what the GIF stands for. A GIF is a different type of image other than a JPEG. It doesn't mean that it's necessarily animated, but if you see an animated image like that, then that's what it is. So you can see here we have our standard formation. This is when this document load, run this function. So I'm running this function in order to create the list of images. So standard stuff, reading off the array, and then text1 plus equals, and then this is our code here. And in this I have an on mouse over. That looks a little odd actually. That should be on mouse out, I would think. So all this is doing is on mouse over, changing the image, and it's sending the change image function the array number, right? That's the I, and sending it to the change image function, and then the change image function does the work. So this is all set up for you. And you really shouldn't have to change it. But if you're confused or if you need a reminder about how any of this stuff works, take a look at the code. And then here it just takes my text, right here it just takes my text1, which I've been creating on the fly by cycling through the array, and puts it in this image list. But again, all of this is set up for you. The only thing you're really going to have to worry about for this lesson is this very basic action here, which is ATTR, which stands for attribute. And this works the same way as CSS or HTML, really more like CSS, because what you're then doing is you're passing it the attribute name, and then you're passing it whatever the attribute value should be, right? So let's just go through and see how that's working. Save work, show web page. So right here, yeah, and so what I've changed it to by putting in that on mouse out is that wherever I leave one of the images, rather than it staying on that image, it is going to switch to this image right here. Okay, but the real key is the ability to change what I'm doing based on what my mouse over is, right? All right, so let me go back here and let's just take a look at this code. So we'll write this from scratch. Alright, so I have my on mouse over, runs the change image, sends it the array item, and then all I do here, same formation that we've been using, my $sign to show that it's jQuery. I specify what I'm changing, which is the main image. Remember, I have to do pound to indicate that it's an ID. Alright, and now I'm telling you what. Now if I wanted to, I could change the CSS, right? And I could change the border or the background color, or I could change the height, or I could change the location. I can do all those cool things, but in this case I'm changing the attribute. So I'm going to change the attribute. And what's an attribute? Well, this is an attribute. Source is an attribute, right? Height is an attribute, although we now use CSS to do that. In an iframe, the source would be the attribute, or the rows, or any of these things. Some of these we can change with CSS. Some of these we can change with this attribute tag. In this case, we're going to use the attribute tag. So we specify that we're changing the source. Whoops. So all we're doing here is saying, I want to change this. And now we want to know, well, what is it going to be? Well, I could hard code it, right? I could just say Fraser headshot, what is that, PNG, JPG. That would be changing it to a static link, image link. But what I want to do is I want to change it to whatever it was that I was mousing over. And so the way I'm going to do this, which we've already done, is just using the options. So I'm sending it, you see here, I'm sending it a variable, I, or a parameter, I. And so it's receiving it as M. I just call it M. And so then I'm going to say options, M, right? And then I'm going to make it this image link. So that's all I'm doing. And if I send it the first one, or 0, it's going to be this one up here. If I send it 1, it's going to be this one, 2, 3, etc. But that's all I'm doing, is I can change the attribute of any element on the page by specifying what attribute of the element. You're specifying the element, then you're specifying what attribute you want to change, and then you're giving it a value. And in this case, I'm just giving it the whatever the link is that I'm sending. So right now, I click Save Work and Show Web Page. And when I mouse over this, it's sending it the 0 element in the list, or in the array, the 1, the 2, and then the 3. All right? So pretty straightforward. Just wanted you to make sure that you, or just wanted to give you a little bit of practice in changing the attribute. Tomorrow we're going to be doing something where we're combining our ability to change the attributes and the CSS to make items move on a page.